Top 5 reasons I was a horrible teacher. 1. I once told a student to shut up. I once told the whole class to shut up multiple times. This has not happened one time. It was multiple times. And I'm probably never going to get hired again if someone ever if a school sees this video. It pains me to say this. 2, going along with that, I have anger management issues stemming from me modeling my parents' way of dealing with conflict. We'll get into the reasons why I said shut up and the anger management issues, but basically it's very hard for me to get kids to listen to me, and because they do not respect me. They behave so number 3 is children behave out of fear and not out of the goodness of their heart. So they would not listen to me because I am 5'2", and I am not scary. I do not inspire fear in children. So they do not listen to me when I tell them to please be quiet. And so when they did not listen to me and they kept on talking, and I lost control of the situation because I was not being able to do my job based on the standards that people have put on me, the administrators, the state, my job of teaching all this bullshit. If once I lost control of that situation, I wasn't able to do all that, I lost it. And that I would just scream at them. And it was like I was nice, and then all of a sudden I had these outbursts. That's why it's like, what's it called? That's why it's scarring or like jarring. That's why it's jarring, because I would just be nice and then be calm, and then suddenly like I blow up like that. And that versus a teacher who's consistently mean. But the thing is, I was modeling what previous teachers I had learned from, and that they were always mean. But somehow when I did it, when I yelled at them, it wasn't okay because they viewed me as nice and kind, and all of a sudden I blew up. So it was very bad. Like I said, they behave out of fear. For example, when I did my student teaching, my mentor teacher is very strict. She's very nice. Like, there's a difference between a straight up mean teacher who's just mean and like a teacher who's strict and like scary mean. There's a difference between them. But like my mentor teacher is great. But she instills fear in children. And like the students would tell me directly, like, I'm so scared of her versus you. They loved me because I was the nice one. When I would talk to them, like, why do you listen to her but you don't listen to me? And they're like, oh, because she's mean and scary. So they do not listen to me because I'm not scared. So, but also, there's a cognitive dissonance in my head that like I was just being mean to these kids, not because I wanted to be mean to these kids. Not that I didn't care. Like, I actually didn't care if kids kept talking. I only cared because it was affecting my job. Like, it was affecting what I was supposed to do, which was teach them. But like, honestly, in a perfect world where I was a teacher, like, I wouldn't care. It's like, oh, you don't listen to me because there's a reason you don't want to listen to me. You're not engaged or interested in the subject at hand. But I understand. So like, just do your own thing. Like, I don't care. Like, if you want to talk to your friend. I don't care. But so that's like, I didn't believe in the bullshit. And for one example is, I would do like review expectations for students and like on a poster sheet, and then like the students like read through me, or like they saw right through me because they were like, oh, she's only doing this because Ms. blah 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 told her to do this. And they were completely right. I was only doing that. I knew what was going on. Like, I know my philosophy and whatever like wasn't matching, and I was only doing that because she told me to do. And I was like, and I had to listen to what this lady was telling me to do because she was a superior, in addition to being a bad teacher in the eyes of spirit and being a mean teacher who said horrible things to her students. I was also a bad teacher in the eyes of parents who wanted the traditional school experience for their children. Who wanted that mean, strict teacher? So a parent watched my class one day. She saw students getting up to get water while I was teaching, etc., etc. And I was like, and she wasn't into that. And she removed her child out of my class because she thought that I had lost control of the classroom. And that is true. And I didn't care because I didn't care. I didn't care if kids sat on furniture. So in my classroom, there was a shelf thing, a long shelf thing against the wall. Like students would sit on there. It's like dumb because the principal would be like, oh, you shouldn't be sitting on that. You know, you're not supposed to sit on that. Do you sit at furniture at home? And like, yeah, of course. Like we sit, like people don't sit on cabinets, kitchen cabinets and stuff at homes. It's like very, very dumb logic and reasoning. But so, and also like the teachers would sit on that shelf. So it's like, how are you gonna, like when I'm teaching, I would like you just sit on it because it's a natural thing to do when you got a long shelf in front of the class. So, and other teachers would do it too. So, and I didn't care of kids. So there was a filing cabinet. Oh my God, I'm never getting hired again if I release this video. There's a filing cabinet and like kids like to jump on it because it was a tall thing and play on it. It's like, that's not a natural thing, play. But you're not allowed to do any of that in school because teachers in the school is going to be liable if the kid hurts themselves while playing. So you can't do anything fun. You can't, for example, climbing trees outdoor. Like that's a natural thing for kids to do to learn. If learning is not the goal in the public school systems here. The child in nature, climbing a tree is a great way to learn about physics, about gravity, whatever. But in schools, you can't do that because it's a liability. But the thing is, the students are like, they're not going to blame you, as in me, the teacher. They're going to blame me. Like, my parents are going to yell at me. They're not going to yell at you. But the thing is, like, the schools are so afraid the parents are going to sue or whatever, which is true. So I'm like, just homeschool your kids then if you're going to sue the school. I don't know. Also, I would let students listen to music on YouTube while independently working because I didn't give a fuck. Like, because when I do homework, well, I listen to music and I do homework at the same time. Sure, it's not a great thing for focus, but like, it's a natural thing to do. Also, lastly, so as I mentioned before, I only did things because I didn't want to get in trouble. I was behaving out of fear as well. For example, I don't give a fuck if kids walk in straight lines. Oh my God, the idea of walking in a straight line is so dumb to me because once you get to middle school, it's like you start walking independently and there is no straight line in middle and high school. And there is no straight line in nature. In New York City, people are walking in straight lines. You just walk at your own pace. Like, who cares if kids are walking in a straight line or not? That is like, you know where people walk in straight lines? In jail, in prison. That's where they have people line up and walk straight. So straight line, I didn't care, but people were like, the expectation was you had to practice walking a straight line. And if there would be teachers at my school who, when they saw a student not in line, they would yell and harass them. Like, what kind of stupidity is that? To stand on the exact third tile of the hallway. And if they like got tired and they started leaning against the wall, they would get snapped at for not walking in a straight line. That is ridiculous to me. Why do they need to walk in a straight line? I get like, oh, other people are passing by and unite. So like, just teach them respect and like, oh, if someone's walking your way, get out of the way. Like, you know, simple basic stuff that is applicable in nature and not to a jail, a prison system, which is what the public school system is. Like definitely in 4th grade, I think there's independent students that they should be able to, know when their next class is. They should be able to go at their own pace whenever and walk to their own class without the teacher leading them. And the same with like having to eat in the cafeteria. Why can't they eat anywhere else in school? It's so dumb. This system of control. And then, for example, bouncing basketballs in the hallway. Students would do that. I'm like, it's not that big of a deal, yet people would snap. I'd have these old racist white teachers. They'd be snapping at my students because they were bouncing basketballs in the hallways. It's not that big of a deal. And I mean, I understand like being quiet so you don't affect other students learning, that's still going on while you're in the hallways, but it's like, it's not that loud. And it's like, just tell them a good reason why they shouldn't do that and don't make a big deal out of it. Yeah. So that's the end of my list. I'm still working on that. Next month I'm going to do 30 days of blog posting or something like that, writing wise, and I will release my opinions. More tea on the American public school system. But that is the end of this video for now, and I hope you like it, and I will never get hired again as a public school teacher because of this video. But yeah, and I am so sorry for being mean to you. If you're a student watching this, I'm so mean. I mean, I'm so sorry for what I did. And I think some students understood that, like, at the end of the school year, I apologized to my most recent class, and they understood, like, what the situation I was in. And I was like, wow, why are you so kind? Like, that doesn't excuse my behavior. Like, I didn't tell my most recent class, like, shut up. Like, I learned from the past, like, whoa, like, that's something I shouldn't be telling people to shut up. But yeah. Oh, last thing I forgot to mention, I guess number 6 is the patriotism aspect of public schooling. And so I was reading the rest of the Virginia social studies SOLs, and a lot of grades, a unit or like a standard is on patriotism and citizenship and following rules to maintain the status quo. Well, I mean, it doesn't say that, but that's what it is, to maintain the status quo of this country. You're not allowed to question this country and everything, and you have to say the Pledge of Allegiance and learn what it's like to be a citizenship and do all this stuff. And it's like, how about being a good human being and like questioning what is wrong and not just following the rules?